Just coming to the end of a 45-minute ride on Zwift. Just taking it nice and easy. Out riding around about 150 watts. So I went out this morning on the long run and got about 14k into the long run. Started off kind of easy. Just did 6k easy. Now the plan was to do about 25k around that marathon pace. A good push, and I got 7k into the marathon pace, and the pain in the foot was just too much. I had to back off. I always tell people 1 to 4 out of 10 is acceptable. 5 to 6 out of 10 is perceived caution, and anything more than 6 out of 10 you got to stop. So mine was getting up around 7 and 8 by the time I got up around 7 kilometers running at marathon pace. So I took the strategic decision to stop and get the dart home, get the train home from. I had run down from Portmarnock down to Fairview. I just had finished the Lucas Fairview Park, and yeah, by the time I get into Fairview Park, the pain was just too much. I ended up just doing a really easy 2k. I was planning to just complete the run, but run home nice and easy. By the time I looped around the park and got to the edge of Fairview Park, the pain was so intense. I couldn't even get to like the petrol station where we stopped. I just went into the dark, got the train home. Got the train. There was no train to Portmarnock, so I got the train to Sutton and thought, right, I'll run. It's probably about 4k from Sutton to my house. So I came out of the Dart station and got 1k into that run, and the pain was like 9 out of 10. So I had to go into a coffee shop, call my wife, and my wife came and picked me up, brought me home. So I needed to get some metabolic fitness done today. The plan was to get 37k early running. So like I said, I got 14k and I'm just past 45 now. Round out an hour on this turbo trainer, and then see how the foot feels. The foot feels totally fine riding the bike, absolutely no pain at all. And I did a little bit of walking since I've been home, but just down to shop back, just a short walk, no pain. So I'll go for a little walk later and see how it is. Hopefully it all settles down over the next couple of days. I think the problem is I ran twice in the treadmill this week. I did a tempo run on Wednesday night because it was just washing rain and really windy, and then Friday we had a storm, so I ended up doing my 800s on the treadmill, and it felt great. But when I finished those 800s, I could feel the pain in the foot. And yesterday I went out for a 16k or a 10-mile run, and there was a notable amount of pain in the foot. Today when I started it was totally fine, wasn't too sore, but once I got up into that marathon pace stuff, it just got too much. Monday morning, foot feels good today. Just heading into work now. I've got a busy day in clinic, treating all the people. I've got 2 people in today who are also doing a marathon. One is doing a marathon in Lanzarote, and then there's another guy doing the Valencia marathon. So I'm going to treat them today. Both of them in a little bit of pain. Myself, I did a little bit of walking yesterday evening. The foot feels totally fine when I'm walking, so that makes me think it's not a very serious thing. I think it's probably just a little bit of bruising, probably like a what would you call it, like an overuse issue because of the 2 sessions I did on the treadmill. Path was blocked. I don't think it's anything serious. I think it's something that will clear up. This is my first time walking out today. Obviously it's early on Monday morning. I'm just getting like a 5-minute walk just to get some fresh air before I go into clinic, and I'm certainly aware of it. It's there, I can feel it, but it doesn't seem. It's probably like a 2 or 3 out of 10 pain as I'm walking now. So yeah, hopefully it settles down. I'm not going to run today. Quite often I try and get a little kind of just an easy run on Monday, but I'm just going to leave it today. I'll get back on the turbo trainer later when I go home from work, and I might just do an hour on the turbo, which is good. It just keeps the fitness up, keeps the metabolic fitness going, just keeps those energy system turning over, a little bit of stress in the nervous system. It's good to just keep yourself moving. This is another big week in terms of the marathon training block for Valencia, so I definitely want to get some exercise done this week, but it might be a lot more cycling than running. I've got a workout to do this week. Again, if the foot doesn't feel 100%, I don't think I'll do it, because it's close enough now that like if this was like 6 weeks out and I had this amount of pain, I probably would go and try and do the workout if there was a little bit of pain. But because I'm so close to Valencia Marathon, I definitely don't want to feel it. Like if the pain was like it was yesterday morning, Sunday morning doing the long run, I wouldn't have been able to finish the marathon, or I certainly wouldn't have been able to finish it. I would have had to walk to finish it. So it is a tiny bit worrying, but I'll get a much better picture by Wednesday in terms of how it's progressing and how it's going to go between now and race day. So hopefully it settles down. I think it will. I'm doing a little bit of stretching on it, and I've taken some anti-inflammatory, so hopefully it settles down over the next couple of days. Lunchtime. I got about 10 minutes before I got to get back to the clinic. I spent the morning in clinic quite busy, treating people with all sorts of pain and injuries. I had 2 guys in, both of them training for 2 different marathons. And while I was working them, it got me thinking about what exactly is going on with my foot. So I think what I've done is I've strained the first metacarpal phalangeal joint, metatarsal phalangeal joint, the MCP. I think running on the treadmill, the toe off was probably a little bit more vigorous than what I would usually do when I'm out running on the road, and I think I either strained the joint capsule around there, so the joint capsule of the first MCP, or I strained I think there is a little bit of plantar fascia involved, because I think the plantar fascia might be just a little bit strained from just the repetitive toeing off phase while running on the treadmill. Failing that, if that's not it, then as I'm walking here I'm feeling that it could be one of the tendons that runs down from the leg and attaches into that first metacarpal bone just below the big toe. It could be a little bit of a tendinopathy, and if it is, I think that's a better prognosis if it is, because that will heal up better. And I think, you know, with tendinopathies, they tend to do well in the recovery process when you put a little bit of strain through it. So doing like a little bit of light running will actually help it along, if that is the case. If it's a joint capsule, I'm just going to have to be very careful in introducing back some running. So I'll try a little bit. Today is Monday. I'm not going to do any running today, as I said earlier. I'll do some turbo trainer later on tonight, because there's zero payment to do that, and that's just for keeping that metabolic fitness going, keeping the cardiovascular fitness going, and keeping my brain active, and letting me know that I am doing something and that everything's not falling to pot, even though it feels like it might. And then tomorrow I'll add a little bit of running tomorrow. I'll just try it. I'll go really easy, and if the pain is anywhere between 1 and 4 out of 10, I think that's kind of acceptable. I'll cruise along and I'll do a little bit of running at that. If the pain is any more than 4 out of 10, I think I'll stop. Sometimes I tell people if the pain is like 5 or 6 out of 10 that they should proceed with caution, but if it's anything above 4 for me tomorrow, just because the marathon's so close, I'm just going to back it off. And some people say maybe you should just leave it and not run at all, but you know, you get to the point there where you start catastrophizing, and catastrophizing about injury is sometimes the kind of the biggest barrier to injury. I see this a lot in clinic, that people are afraid to go back to their activity because they think they're going to do harm or damage. I don't think that's going to be the case. If I run, I'm not going to probably cause any more harm or damage, particularly if I'm not running on a treadmill. It's just a matter of balancing, adding some stimulus while allowing it to recover. So following my own advice and doing my own recovery protocols, like getting my adequate sleep, rest, recovery and nutrition. That's something that I'll definitely be thinking about over the next week. And like I said, just adding a little bit of that training back in tomorrow will probably be enough to stop me from catastrophizing and think everything is falling apart. So it is important to do a little bit if you can do a little bit. But like I said, if I can't do any, if I feel that I'm training and it's not appropriate, or I feel that I'm doing sort of holding myself back and I'm not allowing myself to recover or perform properly, then I will knock off the running and just do some turbo trainer, which wouldn't be the end of the world. Look, as somebody said to me on Strava, look, all the running's kind of done. I really would have loved to get that really long run yesterday. I've got one more big enough run to do this coming weekend. I'd like to get that done. If I did, that will, you know, it'll just allow the confidence to stay high, but I don't think I'm going to get a whole lot fitter between now and Valencia, even if I am running, or even if I'm on the turbo trainer. I don't think the level of fitness is going to change all that much. I've done a lot this year. I've done a lot of work. I've put a lot of it in, and I've got a lot of progress. So that will stand to me, and I know that. Yeah, and I just have to manage it over the next couple of days and see how I go. Yeah, back out today. Just doing 20 minutes this morning on the turbo. I'm going to run today. I'm going to test the foot today. I think it's going to be okay. I took some more anti-inflammatories yesterday, and it feels pretty good. I'm just riding here at like 160 watts, just nice and easy. I'm just going to do 20 minutes. The plan was to get about 45 minutes today, but I had a bit of a busy morning. I had to run around and do a couple of things. So 20 minutes before I head out to work. Just wanted to get a little bit of stimulus across the foot, make sure that everything feels all right before I do try and run today. I think it's going to be totally fine. Feels pretty good. Yesterday, when I was putting my foot up to the skirting board and pressing my foot into the wall, there was quite a lot of pain around that first metacarpal phalangeal joint. But today it feels a lot better. I've tried that little test this morning and the pain is probably a fraction of what it was yesterday, so I think I just strained the joint capsule, maybe a little bit of strain on the plantar fascia. Fingers crossed it's okay when I run. We'll check out later and see how it feels once I get the running shoes on and start pounding the pavements. The plan was to run this afternoon, but I actually have an online booking system at clinic. I got 2 people booked in, so my window to run has been taken away. So I'm just gonna go and grab something to eat really quickly, and just thought I'd wrap up this video before I do that. I will run this evening, so I think I'll be able to run kind of when it gets dark later on, so I won't have the camera with me. But walking around the foot feels fine. It feels like it's kind of settled down a bit, and the pain is pretty much all subsided, so that's great. Yeah, the message for the video, I suppose, is, you know, don't catastrophize. If you get a little niggle or a little bit of setback in your training, look, these things happen. That's marathon training is all about, dealing with the setbacks, dealing with the niggles. If you just kind of hit the reset button and think it's all going to pop because you have a little bit of a setback, well, then you're probably not going to get very far with your running. So, you know, take it in your stride, don't catastrophize, don't worry. 9 times out of 10, these little niggles and injuries don't last for very long. And I think with me, I just overdid it on the treadmill. I should have known better, but I didn't really have much of an option. So, you know, hindsight's a wonderful thing. If I went back, would I do it all again? Yes, I probably would, because the 2 days that I ran on the treadmill, the weather was absolutely horrendous. It was really stormy, really rainy. It probably would have been dangerous to run outside on one of the days. So that was the day I did the 6-800s, and it was the pain came on after that. But in saying that, I had ran 2 days previous in treadmill. So look, it wasn't ideal, but I made the most of what I had available to me. And that's what you have to do in your marathon training, you know. Things don't always go the way you have them planned. Which is why it's probably a good idea having a coach, because when things go to pot, then people can tell you what to do and kind of help you readjust and stop you catastrophizing and hitting the reset button and throwing all your toys out of the cart. Anyway, I hope this made sense for some people who are watching. I'll be back on again. I'll have a video up before Friday, and I will be on again live this week. If you hit the follow button and the subscribe button, you'll see the little promo coming up about, I'll put it up a day in advance of when I'm going live. I haven't figured out what time I'll be able to do it at this week, but I will do another live one. And the live stream this week will all be about metabolic fitness. So I'll be explaining exactly what metabolic fitness is, how it differs from cardiovascular fitness, what I've been doing this year in terms of developing my metabolic fitness, and what it has done and what it has changed for me in my racing and how it has improved my results. That's pretty much it for this video, guys. Until the next time, you know what to do. Run far, run fast, and most of all, run sensible.